Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Clutch Conversations. It's your boy Mike. We back at you one more again, live on a Thursday night. You know how we do. It's going down. We got Ball Python Shed in the building. But first and foremost, want to give some shout outs, show some love. Shout out to my lovely wife, Takara. Appreciate everything that you do. Thank you for holding us down. So shout out to the world famous TJ the DJ. Y'all make sure y'all show us some love in the comments. And y'all definitely show the channel some love as well. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Make sure you Hulk smash that notification bell so you can get notifications for every time we drop a video. We really appreciate the support. Really appreciate everybody checking us out on the audio only platforms. Clutch Conversations is available on all major podcast platforms. So that's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more. So make sure you're checking us out there. Make sure you give us a follow there, rate us there, leave us a comment, show some love. Really appreciate it. Appreciate all the support. Also, if you're involved in this reptile hobby in any shape, form, or fashion, make sure you're out there supporting US Art and US Art Florida. The link for both organizations are in the description of this video. So definitely go check them out. If you don't have a membership, get you a membership. If you do have a membership, donate, definitely spread the word. We need as many memberships as possible, making heads count. So definitely make sure you're supporting both US Art and US Art Florida. Let's see who we got in the building tonight. We got the homie Wiz in the building. What's good, bro? Thanks for coming out. Thanks for coming out. We got Brian in the building, Heathen Hatchery, last week's guest. Thanks for coming out. We got Moon over Miami. What's good, bro? Thanks for coming out. We got Eric's Morph Factory. Thanks for coming out. We got Blaker's Pythons. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming out. We got Ken in the building. What's good, bro? Thanks for coming out. Casey, what's up, man? Thanks for coming out, bro. See what else we got. John, what's good, brother? Thanks for coming out. Y'all make sure y'all go check out John's show. Far Out, what's good? Thanks for coming out, fam. Bailey's Royal Beauties, thanks for coming out. Appreciate the support. Rock, what's good, bro? Thanks for coming out. Windy City Morse, what's up, bro? Thanks for coming out. Got the homie Antoine in the building. What's good, bro? Thanks for coming out. We got Arvin in the building. What's up, Eyes Guys? Thanks for coming out. Appreciate the support. David, what's up, bro? Thanks for coming out. Bob, what's good, bro? Thanks for coming out. Will, what's up? What's up? Thanks for coming out. We're going to stop it right there with the podcast whore himself. We're going to pay some dues, show some love to the sponsors. Appreciate Justin. Appreciate Shane. We're going to hit you with the sponsor video. Then we're going to hit you with the intro, and we're going to be back.
Big dreams start in small towns. Small Town Xotics is a family-ran business that specializes in high-quality ball python morphs, western hognoses, and select leopard geckos. They are proud members of US Art Florida, and the Orient Society. Stay connected with Small Town Xotics on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Witness their journey as they grow their business and showcase their animals to the world. Thank you, Small Town Xotics, for sponsoring the show.
art comes in many forms. At Armless Angels, it comes to life.
Baby, baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor, I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire, I'll add the fuel. Follow my lead, just watch your shoes. Gotta turn the heat up, spit this cool. Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this?
Episode 70, Ball Python Shed. What's up, bro?
I love the introduction noise. That's great.
Appreciate it, man. How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you for having me on, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming on. Looks like it's a nice day. What I can see out the window.
Yeah, no, it is. The sun is shining. It got a little warm today, like we were talking earlier. But no, man, it's great. It's great.
Yeah, you can't ask for much more.
Hell no. Snake babies are hatching, so it's a good time.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to get into the season. That's one of the main things I wanted to talk about. So real quick though, let's set the stage for everybody. So
Okay.
talk a little bit about kind of how you got started and what led up to Ball Python Shed.
I mean, basically, the reality of what led up to Ball Python Shed was I was kind of like into. I've been into raising like multiple animals and livestock over the years with the deer and the elk and the cattle. And when I got into that, it was the genetics part of it, and what created this to create. You can even still black cows and you breed a black cow together. They still all look different. They have phenotype and it's just like a snake. Snakes, some snakes look better than others. They just do. So, and then I got into, the whitetails and the elk. And, when you raise the whitetails, they grow antler and they shed those off every year. And so you're trying to breed a better expression of antler is basically what it is.
Okay.
And breed what you want to breed that's satisfying for you, as a hunter. Is basically what it comes down to, and then what the industry wants. And so it's exactly the same thing as the snakes. So I got into all this, and I'm kind of going along the way. And I've had ball pythons basically since I was, I'm going to say, in middle school.
Okay.
Went to Bob Clark, did a little traveling deal, and he had some snakes at like a grocery store setup. I mean, this is like way back, and I bought like a normal ball python for like $200 from him back then, because those were normals. And so it just kind of progressed from there, and then like Overland Park Pets in Kansas City actually was the closest place I could get to, because I'm down here in the sticks, that would have ball pythons that were displayed and for sale. And they had red-tailed boas and a few other things too, the berms back then too. And so that was like really cool to get to go into a place and see the big snakes as a young kid without going to like a zoo or something, actually physically get to handle them and things. And so,
Oh, nice.
yeah, that was just that much more inspiring. So it was like every 3 weeks or a month, I was begging my parents to take me to Kansas City. You guys go do your Toys R Us and all that, and just leave me over here at the pet shop for half the day if you want. I didn't care. So, it was just always in, the reptile, and I caught snakes as kids, and just, the bull snakes, and we have a lot of reptiles in this area, so it's fun to catch them. And so it just all led up to this genetic thing with the ball pythons. So I'm just progressing through the years. And I would say it was probably in 2013 to 14, 15 range. In 13, we were actually hatching a few babies, and like 14, a few more. But I got to where I was, I guess I would say, successful enough in my other business. I could really start investing in this because it is expensive. And if you're going to take this seriously, it definitely costs money. So, that was the year I really took a big jump and started investing a lot. It was like 14 and 15. And then, here we are today. So, I mean, I'm blessed, where I'm at for sure for the, I mean, amount of time I've been breeding ball pythons, it's been a fun ride so far. That's for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, so actually, I want to talk about like the business side of things. So, you spoke about like your initial investment back in what 13, 14. That was when you first started investing biz. So, what did that investment look like? Like, were you investing in the high end stuff, or were you bringing in more animals? Like, how'd you kind of start off once you start doing it from a business perspective?
Basically, I'm going to say visualist probably side of it was more than anything because I didn't quite understand the business side of it. I'm trying to follow it and understand, but, recessive wasn't quite as important as it is now. A clown was really nice and those were, had potential you could see, but, Justin, obviously he really, really pumped that clown thing up, through 15, 16, 17, and 18 and really blew it up. So that helped a lot. But it was basically going into it and investing in what I thought I could see as maybe like the next cool thing. And then I actually was the asphalt stuff was like really
Nice.
high. Yeah, that was like a really high end, super asphalts for $10,000 and $12,000 back then,
Oh
just for a
wow.
normal one. Yeah, just for a normal one. And freeways. Breeder Circle had highways, and those things were beautiful. And the freeways come out, and I'm just sitting there. Me, you know, uh, in the other business, trying to be a visualist, you're like trying to visualize. So then you see these pastel freeways and these Mardi Gras, and you're like, wow, the clown is beautiful. If you could turn this into a clown, this could be like one of the most amazing things. And so that was basically the kind of the route I started on. Was I got into the asphalt gene, and then I kind of went every different direction with that. And then I started adding the clown, and the pied, and the last few years, the desert ghost into that. But it's all just, been an evolving process. And don't get me wrong, I've stretched my tentacles out into every basically project there is for the most part, because that's how addictive this is. But yeah, I mean, that's the asphalt gene, I would say, is probably what put me on the map, to be honest. Yeah.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
So early on, like how many animals were you working with?
So I would say in like 14, I had, I think 11 clutches.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot. I mean, I was, and back then you're just hatching some stuff. I had bought like bongo back then, so I was just hatching some like cool little, bongo right there in the very beginning of like 14 and 15, and like you're just making like super pastel calico yellow bellies back in like 13, and that was still a pretty powerful little animal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that, basically that was kind of the route I was going, thinking recessive, but not quite understanding the business fully at that time, for sure.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, it's interesting, like you said, like just being like real visual with it, because that's how it was when I first picked up or started investing into like snakes and
Yeah.
ball pythons and stuff like that and building my collection. Like the first thing that like really appealed to me was like really bright, like just kind of like eye-popping combos. But then when I learned more about it, like I started thinking about it differently. Like I still like breed for things that like I like, but I'm
Yeah.
also kind of like thinking like long-term value and what's a long-term project and what's a project that I can like build on over the long term that'll hopefully hold value like over a long-term period.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, and banana was one of those examples like you were talking, it's pretty, it's bright. When you put yellow belly into it, it really makes some really crazy animals. And I did a lot of that banana stuff too in the very beginning, just because it was really, really nice stuff. These days, I still have some banana in a few combos, but it's getting more selective, I would say.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So when you got into banana, what year was that, and how much were they going for then?
Oh man. So I bought banana from Brian Barczyk in 2014. I think that was a lemon blast banana female, and I gave $2,000 for her.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, no, and then I bought several. Like Rob Starsman had like a group of pastel bananas, like four of them for sale for like 1,400 a piece at that time. If you bought all four, and so I bought all I bought all those. So yeah, no, that bananas it was all about the female back then. I did understand the breeding side of that, which was nice. That was explained to me in the beginning, so I didn't get lost in all this male maker banana stuff. But yeah, no, the banana's definitely a learning lesson too.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've heard like some crazy stories about the banana prices at first when it first came out and how expensive they were.
Oh man, I'm glad I didn't actually get involved in all of it. But yeah, no, I mean, I heard some like $50,000-$60,000 prices thrown around, and guys really got the money for it several
Yeah.
times too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard, and then everybody started picking them up, and most of them were males, and so people were reproducing it, like, fairly quickly, and then it just
Yeah.
started to be like a race to the bottom for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I definitely like banana, and I still got some in my collection. I actually just hatched, some clown combos that's got banana in the mix, so I really like it.
Yeah, I think banana has its place. I mean, the freeway bananas, I really like them. I mean, they still look really nice, and I'll probably always make a couple clutches every year just because it's one of the snakes that I enjoy making.
It's hard to go wrong with a freeway combo.
It
Hard.
really is. I mean, just they are pretty no matter what. I put up that post like a couple weeks back on the freeway, because that was basically kind of where I started was the asphalt gene, like we were talking earlier, and I just was showing the progression of the price throughout the years, and just showing people if you do get in these projects early enough, even if the price drops in half or drops 80%, as long as you're in the project early enough, you're gonna do just fine.
Absolutely. So I
Yeah,
saw that post that you were talking about, and like it was going through. It probably had like 9, 10 years or so of like prices on it for
correct.
that project. Did you just pull all that from Morph Market? Like, where'd you pull that data from?
What's up, Antoine? No, actually, that's just memory.
Okay.
Yeah, no, because I was basically right in the heat of the asphalt gene throughout that whole process. And there's actually a few other genes like the acid gene, acid confusion, and the stranger. A couple of those guys asked me if I wanted to do that. I wasn't like in depth right in the middle of the stranger prices when they first came here, but I did know. So there was like 8 original strangers that came over here in like 2015-ish, I think it was. And I knew several of the people that got the original strangers, and so yeah, I thought about doing another one, just to kind of show those progressive things.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I hope you do that. Shout out to homie Troy. What's good, bro? I appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Let's see what he said. Wants to know why haven't you sent your child support payment, bro?
Yeah, I'll give it to him in Pomona. Uh,
Troy has like some of the best jokes in the chat. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate the support.
very
So
supportive.
when you first started, did you kind of come out the gate as ball python shit, or did that name go through multiple iterations? Like, how did that work for you?
That was, I guess, kind of an interesting one. I'll tell you kind of exactly that. We did come out with the ball python shed, but I think it was around 2017 before we actually put the logo out. And the reason why is because we do live in the Midwest. My kids go to a Christian school, and we do, where people around here are very selective in their thoughts, I guess I would tell you. So we didn't be very, very vocal and very open about this because we didn't want the people in town to freak out that we're raising snakes. I didn't want my kids to be giving crap that your parents raise snakes, and so I just kind of like to prove my point. You know what I mean? I want to prove to everybody that this was a successful business and I could kind of make this run. And now no one in town cares. Everybody's intrigued by it. And they all want to come see it. And they all want to ask a million. I go walk through Walmart and they go, hey, I see you had a ball python for sale for like $5,000. And I'm like, yeah, I do. Okay. And everybody wants to talk about these crazy snakes. But, and that's really cool because it makes you feel good. But yeah, I mean, for a long time, I'll be honest with you, we hid it from the public basically just because we didn't know what kind of backlash we would get almost, in the eye of the public around here. And then it just got, like I said, got to be successful. So I just didn't care nowadays. We just do our thing and, just roll on with it.
I like that. I like that strategy. Show and prove. And then bam.
Yeah, no. And so basically, I don't even think anyone knew what I looked like, my face looked like until about 2018 or 19.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I even like Bob, I'd met him a couple times at a show where, back in like Daytona, like 15 or 16, I think I shook his hand a couple times, but we didn't know each other. And, when you don't really like know each other, the face thing, you see the person, but you don't know them, and you move on. And I can just remember like a couple of years after that, one time we were talking about something and he sent me a message. He's like, hey, can you just screenshot a picture of your face? Exactly what you look like. I was just dying laughing. And I'm just like, I really am bad about that. I just, I kept it on the down low for a long time.
Can you screenshot me your face?
That's been so many years, but that was funny. I still remember it.
What'd you say back to him?
I think I don't even know if I sent a screenshot to him. I think I just laughed at the comment or something. I don't even remember. But yeah, it was good. It was good.
Nice. And so is you, your wife, and your kids running the business, or is it just primarily you and Jackie? Like how are you doing it?
Yeah, no, it's pretty much a family deal. The kids are becoming more involved as they get older. They have a lot of sports and things, I kind of letting them focus on being kids a little bit right now. So I definitely do push them into the environment, but not like strong, I'm kind of letting them just, organically involve into it a little bit if they want.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And so how you liking like the family ran, family owned aspect of it?
I love the family run, family aspect of it just because, you pretty much know the loyalty is there. So that works out real nice. The bad part about it is you got to be a boss sometimes. And, Jackie probably not very happy with me at least one day of the week.
It's not personal, it's business.
Yeah, it's what I try and tell her, so no,
I can tell you from experience that does not work.
No, we've been doing it enough years now. We definitely make it work. If I get frustrated enough, I just walk away because it's just not worth it anymore, and I just come back with a different attitude. So
that's what's up. So, like, what is y'all's, I guess, like business philosophy? Like, what would describe or characterize your brand?
Oh man, my brand. I don't really know. That's a good question. I never really thought that one through.
That's a hard one to answer. Because when I was asked that question, I had the exact same response. I was like, well, it was, you know what? I don't really know. So that can be a hard one to answer. Like sometimes.
Yeah, no, I guess basically just I guess one word to maybe try and I'm trying to put out is clean, classy, nice, environment. Just like the whole persona, the whole thing, and just try and treat people the best I can. But man, that's a good question. I'll think about that one.
Nice. So Bob said, "Sell snakes, party hard." That's the brand.
Bob's Ball Shed, man. That's the brand.
Yeah. So talk about that. Both the Patreon that you just mentioned, and just kind of like how that whole community that y'all have got going kind of came together.
Yeah, no, me and Bob have always kind of tried to figure out, we did start doing all the shows together, a few years ago, and that, it all kind of just jived really nice. And, I don't care if he sells my snakes and I'll sell his snakes. The partnership thing works fantastic. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's evolved into basically we have so many people daily asking us questions to ID animals, and they see us together. So a lot of times they'll send us questions like, they'll send Bob a question or me a question and try and get opinions. And not every time we ID everything exactly the same. Everybody has a different opinion on a few things, but it basically evolved into all these people wanting this information, and we didn't really want to charge for it because we were really against the Patreon thing. And so at every show we're talking like, man, we should really like do something. We're like, I just don't really want to charge people for this information. It just doesn't seem right. And I know he even said that vocally on some of these like podcast things, and so we were just like talking one day and, trying to go through some stuff. And I just kind of went to him with a couple little ideas, and he threw a couple ideas back at me. And we were like, let's just kind of throw this together. And, like in our group, we give it all back to everybody in credits and things like that. So it's actually worked out really nice. And we give away, I used to have an actual raffle group, and I would do like 2 or 3 raffles every month in there for ball python shed.
Oh, nice.
And I built that up over a few years, and that was actually worked out really nice. And so basically we just like went into there and told a bunch of the raffle group, we're like, hey, me and Bob are putting this together. You're spending your money with my raffles in here, you might as well just get free raffles, join the Patreon. You're spending the same money anyway, you might as well get a value for it. And so we probably drug 20 or 30 people out of that group real quick, and because they understood the value and already understood what was going on in that group. And then other than that, we've organically just kind of grown it up to like 80 people, I think it's at right now. We don't push for it, we don't really advertise it. We do hand the cards out at the shows everywhere we go, but I mean, other than that, we're just kind of letting everybody just do their own thing in there is really what it comes down to.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
how many tiers do y'all have?
We have the 3-tier deal. So, and then the top tier, the top 2 tiers you get in the raffles. And then we do the Zoom calls usually every other Tuesday. I'm sure as season gets going with all the shows, we'll be back to like every Tuesday night. We try to do like a 30 minutes to hour long Zoom call. So yeah, it seems to work out pretty good. Everybody kind of likes the information. What me and Bob are really honest about is our show sales. And so we try to bring a really good perspective to that because, like Kendall rides around with me everywhere. And, he talks to other people on the side that I don't talk to in his snake world. And he'll just be like, I think a lot of these guys at these shows see you guys and they hear the money you guys make, but they actually don't ever see it. And so it's like, and he goes, I see it because a lot of people, they say they want that snake for $2,000 or something. And you just mark sold and go put it in a bag, and they show up an hour later and pay you because they just say they want it and they're still looking around. And so the transaction didn't happen right in front of everybody, but that is the way it does happen a lot. Like if you walk up and say, hey, Josh, I want that right there. I'll catch up with you later this afternoon. That thing's going in a bag behind the table, and I'll see you this afternoon. No questions asked. It's that simple. So that, a lot of people, and so that was why we wanted to explain to the Patreon group how much we do make at these shows, and it definitely inspires some people, I think, to definitely keep it going.
Gotcha. So with that kind of, hey, what's up, Josh? I want that snake. Can you put it to the side? Do you ever have people who kind of like go back and say, hey, I saw something else, or I changed my mind, or I asked my wife and she said no, so I can't get this one today? You ever have that happen?
Probably not if they've actually told me to put it behind the table. If they may like go find another snake and they'll come up to me and be like, hey, I found another animal. Can I do half down on that right now? And I'll catch you the other half like in a week or two. I really need to get this other animal or something. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, and then just here's the animal, pay me in a couple weeks, and we do a lot of that stuff for sure.
Gotcha. And so you don't have to put a number on it, but would you say just strictly in terms of comparison, are show sales better than let's say Morph Market sales or other like online platforms for you?
I would say probably a 50-50 mix.
Okay.
When when Morph Market's rocking, Morph Market's rocking. I mean, you really can't deny that. And, you know, anybody that really does deny that just kind of just doesn't like the vibe is really what it comes down to. Because, you know, I mean, everything has its time. You know, even the shows are slow at times. So, you know, Morph Market is allowed to be slow at times. So yeah, no, I would just say it is 50-50. There are times certain shows like Tinley that you can really kill it, and you know, you'll move 20 or 30 animals and you'll do really well, you know, and that's like a whole month's worth of like sales, you know, like you would do in Morph Market and things like that. But those are just every now and then, you know, that doesn't happen every single time, but yeah, I would say Morph Market private treaty sales is 50%, and then the shows is the other 50%.
Gotcha. Okay, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
And
Don't give
so,
up on the sales platforms. I think those are very, very important.
yeah, I think so too. I think so too. Like it might be a little slow right now, like for certain people or for like certain animals and stuff like that. But I do feel confident it's gonna pick back up. Like,
Yeah, no, it is. Actually, I think it's kind of picked up. It kind of is slowly picking up, but it's in waves right now for sure.
gotcha. Okay. So what shows are you doing?
We are doing all of the NARBC shows. For the most part, I think all of them we can technically get to. Most all the Reptilian Nation shows.
Okay.
There are a couple in places that we can't get to on his, but that's just a couple. And then we do the Kansas City Cold Blooded show because it's just an hour and a half up the road and it's a 1 day show. So we always do that in Kansas City. And that's actually been a really good show. And that's really about, you know, I'll do like Pomona and Daytona. Those are kind of out of those couple loops, but they're in their own little deal. So I definitely run the country.
Which of those shows do you like the best?
Man, that's tough. It depends on which environment we're going for. Some shows are better for the gang to have a good time, and some are better for the sales. So
Gotcha. Depends. It depends.
yeah. No, but every place has been good to us. We did that ozone show down there in Atlanta like a month ago or something, and that was probably, you know, I think it was kind of a new little deal he was putting on, so that didn't go over very successful. But other than that, everything else has been, I would say, pretty good to us. You know, if I had a soft show one time, the next time I made up for it there, and just I really feel like these guys are really doing a good job of building their base in their areas.
Nice. I want to
Yeah.
go back to one of Troy's comments from earlier.
Okay.
So he said that you're one of the most honest and upfront trusting people in the industry. And so, like, I haven't bought a snake from you, but I did see you make a post. Maybe it was a couple weeks back, but anyway, there was a person who had like a stranger combo on a payment plan. I think they owed like 3,400 left on it, and you had reached out to them and you messaged them. You said, "Hey, the stranger prices have come down," and so you like basically slashed the remaining balance in half. Is that
Yeah.
something that you typically do, kind of like analyze, or was that a one-off kind of thing? And first off, that was dope. That was real dope because a lot of people wouldn't do that, and so that was dope and commendable too. But is that something you do? Is kind of like analyze prices like that, or was that just kind of a one-off?
I think you have to do that, to be honest with you, because this business is kind of tricky with things. There are projects that, you know, people get into. They're newer into the business. They buy a really nice high-end animal. We'll just say it, like the stranger. And then the next year, you know, we have a dip in the business like we're kind of having right now. But they invested and bought a $10,000 stranger last year that they're breeding with. You know, strangers will still sell for 1,500 to $2,000. I mean, they just will, no matter what. I mean, I know that's getting down there in the price on them a little bit, but if your $10,000 stranger made you 5 clutches and gave you 3 strangers per clutch, you're still going to do pretty well on that animal. You know, and then long term, you'll have your hets and your double hets and all that stuff that you can keep back. So, Yes, everybody does. I'll just say it does get caught up in this business in an animal or a combo that they pay a lot of money for and the price drops. That just happens. Not all animals. I mean, it seems like the acid clowns seem to be holding more value and staying stronger than the strangers now. So it's kind of like there's almost becoming a flip-flop. The strangers were so, the acids were so popular, then the stranger clowns came in, and now the acid clowns come in, and they're just so much better of a version of just, quality, contrast, craziness, everything. And so it's just kind of like becoming a little bit of a flip-flop when it comes to the clown version. So yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah, man, I love both of those. So I
I
love
do.
Stranger. I don't have any Stranger in my collection right now, but hopefully that'll change in the next year or so. And
Yeah,
then I really love the acid confusion stuff. Like it's nice. And
yeah,
I plan on heavily working that.
yeah,
Heavily.
yeah.
Like I got a mail this year putting in a lot of work. So I can't wait till some clutches start hitting the ground.
Yeah, no, and I do post up quite a bit of acid stuff, and I'm kind of nutty about it, to be honest with you. I just love the gene. I think I have an acid male almost in every like het puzzle, het DG, het everything, So, so yeah, no, I do love it.
So that's actually the perfect segue into like kind of the next topic. So let's talk projects.
Yeah.
So what projects are you working now? I mean, you said some of them, but what are some of your like main staple projects that you're working?
I would say my next big thing it's probably going to set me hopefully aside from everyone else is the puzzle project. Just because the last few years I really haven't sold any hets, but just maybe like a few on the female side, and I've almost kept everything. And I know that sounds like overzealous maybe a little bit, but I feel like as a coming into this as a visualist, you see all the clown combos, and these things are amazing. And I still think there's 5 years worth of amazing clowns to be made. But when that 5 years is up, it's probably going to be puzzle, just because the contrast is there, the pattern's there, and it is a beautiful recessive when you add it to Desert Ghost and you put it back to the clown. I know there's half the people are like puzzle clown. I don't think it's going to be great, but I actually think it's going to be really, really nice once the combos are made.
Gotcha. So I checked my shipping notifications today. I was a little bit bummed because I didn't get my FedEx notification that my OD chocolate pastel DG puzzle was coming. I thought you were gonna send it to me, bro.
I know it.
I know you got big
He's had a
plans for
few
that one.
meals. He's had a few meals.
I know you got big plans for him.
Yeah, no, I'm actually gonna. I've got like 10 DG females held back and a few puzzle females, so I'm just gonna kind of float him into where whoever goes and starts going first.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So how do you go about planning your projects? Like, is it all just is it based on like solely on what you like? Is it based on the market, kind of a mixed bag? Like, what's your thought process and how are you going through that, planning it out, especially those long-term projects?
The long-term projects right now, I'm basically getting in. I'm positioning myself for the waves, and so I think everybody needs to do that at some point. I think it's just you need to be in the business long enough to understand the business to then position yourself in the business. So it's like I think the Desert Ghost puzzle, and I my holy grail animal, Desert Ghost, Exantic puzzle clown. You get those 4 combinations, you put them together. I feel like that's going to be probably one of the nicest triple quad recessives you can produce. That's where my mental, that's where I'm headed mentally. There may be other people that like other stuff that they'll put into, and they think it's going to be better. That's great. I still think it's a great direction to go. It's going to take us all a long time to get there. And so there's just a lot of long-term value. So basically, I invested, quite a bit of money again last year. I think, a few people know I bought quite a few nice animals. The Desert Ghost Exantic, the Desert Ghost puzzle, and then a whole arsenal of nice females and a few other little things. And so basically I'm just positioning myself now. So if all this stuff just sells really good over the next couple years, but then in 3 or 4 years we have another nice big wave like we usually have, then I'm just trying to, you know, in the Ultramel puzzle, I have a lot of Ultramel puzzle stuff. I have quite a bit of that. And so it's just all that stuff. I guess, yeah, I'm just waiting.
Nice. So
Yeah.
I think about puzzle every week. I'm not in the project, but I think about it every week, and I
Yeah.
do see a lot of potential there. Like I feel like I'm probably missing out. I said I wasn't gonna get puzzle, but I go back and forth, back and forth. But like Ultramel puzzle and Hypo puzzle, that's two projects that I would really love to work, and even DG puzzle. Uh,
Yeah, for
Real
sure.
quick, shout out to Mr. Patel. He said that you're holding back all the puzzle. I appreciate the super chat, bro. He said, "What's your biggest puzzle project right now?"
I would say the biggest I have Ultramel puzzle. There's probably like between the double heads and triple heads, you know, and there's probably like 15 or 16 animals, so you know that I'll be breeding on this next year. And then like the hypo puzzle, there's probably up to like, you know, 8 or 10 double het females now of those. And then the DG puzzle, I just have the one double het female of that the male will breed this fall. But you know, I'm just building that base on that from here now. So
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah, I
Oh,
mean, so I would say half my collection now is basically focused into the puzzle project, I would
oh
say.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know.
She's going in hard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, if clown can be as good as it can be for as long as it can be, puzzle can do the same. So it's just position yourself, you know. I think that's the main thing in this business.
Nice. Go
I
big or
think
go home.
Desert Ghost Xotics gonna have a great run just like puzzle. So yeah, just, you know, be ready for it.
100%.
Yeah.
Shout out to the homie Bosa. Appreciate the super chat, bro. Appreciate all the love week after week. Appreciate it. So yeah, I do think there's a lot of potential with puzzle. And like I said, I go back and forth, back and forth. I keep saying I don't want to get extra projects, but something keeps telling me get in the puzzle, get in the puzzle, get in the puzzle. And speaking of interesting projects, so what are your thoughts on the whole DG discussion that's going on right now?
I'm basically, to be honest with you, 100% treating DG like DG's been treated for the last 20 years. You know, if we are breeding with basically a super form animal, that, you know, then every animal is going to be het for it in some way if you're breeding with a super. So I don't see why people are going to get all bent out of shape or even question the project. Really, I think just now with validity and verification, I think we just go harder at it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's kind of my take too. Like at first, when I first heard it, it took me a while to like kind of digest it and understand like what was going on. I had to watch the video and some of the discussions like a couple times just to understand it because it wasn't the way that I was like used to thinking about stuff. And there was like some uncertainty, like just amongst like folks you talk to and stuff like that. So like working through like all the wrinkles and stuff like that and kind of get a better understanding. I feel like I got a decent understanding of what's going on now, but my strategy is just keep plugging away and doing what I was doing before. I
Well,
mean,
100%. Yeah.
we've been acting like that for like since DG been out and it's been working. So I'm gonna just continue to do that. I may start testing like later on, like testing more animals, but like right now I'm not. Like I'll wait for like at least the DGC for there to be a little bit more clarification on that piece and kind of how it factors into the project. But like I got some DG stuff working this year. I'm just continue plugging away and
Yeah, no, I would just
making it better.
everybody should. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. So when you first heard about it, like was your initial reaction different than kind of like your take now? Or did you
No.
come into that?
Just because I've been, you know, when I was involved in the cattle business, we had, you know, we have RGI and AGI, you know, and I was dealing with the other one through the cattle testing, just, you know, on a weekly basis, sending in blood testing through DNA and getting these percentages of heritability and ribeye and marbling and all this stuff. And so, you know, I already kind of understood a lot of that stuff that kind of, you know, so it was like when this come out, um, and we've already proven we've already proven what DG does. So I I think it's more along the lines of we're going to have to deal with a million questions, like the banana, like the new breeders getting in and want to know the male maker banana question, and so you'll just have to sit there and explain, the DG thing to several of the new people, but most of the people that are already involved should just basically know you breed with a visual male, and I'm gonna buy hets still today. I'll buy hets, no problem.
Have you been getting a lot of questions from like folks in your group about, or folks that come to you with questions about DG?
Not really. We do talk about it in the Patreon group quite a bit. There
Mhm.
was a handful of people in there that were really trying to wrap their head around it and understand it. And I think they've all pretty much got that figured out now, just because they watched the video. And I did make that post on Chad Holker, that the way they rolled it out was terrible. I made that comment, and then Justin came in and, made a comment underneath there, and I wasn't actually trying to be vindictive about that. But at the end of the day, there's too many new people in this business that don't understand genetics at all. And so it's like you really have to break it down to them, or you get those funny messages, like I'm gonna breed my DGs to normals now and see if I can hit. I'm like, who's wasting their time doing this? So, but little things like that get said, and there are people that just take it and run with it, and it's just terrible sometimes.
Cool. Glad to hear you doing some damage control.
But no, man, everybody go with DG, breed it up, breed
Oh
more.
yeah,
Yeah,
please do
yeah,
continue.
much as possible.
All right, so I want to shift over a little bit to like your breeding operation. So how's your season going right now?
My season actually has just got going. I just started hatch. I'm into my fifth clutch right now. My eggs came a little bit later this year, but I usually have around 90 to 100 clutches a year. I've had up to like 120 before, but it looks like I did cut my collection down, kind of like everybody else did, some like, few animals. And over the last 6 months, I probably cut 100 animals out. I had the holdbacks to replace them, so they'll all come on this fall. But yeah, no, it's I would say like 70 clutches this year, so I'll be down, 25, 30 clutches. I think the quality is up, so I think my value will hold just fine.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's basically where I'm at this year.
So you think 90 to 100 is kind of your sweet spot, or do you want to get bigger than that at some point,
I
or
do
smaller?
want to get I do want to get bigger than that, because between all the shows, and over the last couple of years, like this is the first year. So I'm hatching babies right now. Usually every year I start hatching in May and June, and I usually don't hatch much before that. And I've the last 4 years in a row been sold out and not had any babies available to sell going into hatching the 2 months before. This year I probably have around 60 babies left. I have 35 of them on Morph Market, and that is all I have. So I mean, it still was a fantastic year if you look at it. And I mean, cut a few deals, sell a few babies here and there, to try and make a little bit of room here at the end is what I've tried to do the last few weeks. But other than that, yeah, it's been good. So I'm just gonna roll into all these babies right now, and then hopefully get up to around 150 clutches is kind of going to be my goal. I don't know that I want to be bigger than that. As long as I can have 100 to 150 solid clutches, I think I can be happy with that.
Are you typically only breeding in certain months of the year, or do you kind of like do pairings all year round, but you kind of
Uh,
maybe
I live off my ultrasound machine.
okay, same
Yeah,
here.
and it's bad too, because I think I could probably pair up some of these girls like coming up like here in July that I haven't paired for like 3 months because they haven't shown anything, and maybe get them going early coming into fall. But I just have never done that in the past because they're just showing like an 8 millimeter, and I'm just like, yeah, I ain't gonna mess with you till November or whatever.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I've been trying to live off my ultrasound machine as
Yeah.
well because I want to get it to where I'm having to do like probably three pairings max like 3 locks max per female. And so that's where I want to get. And so I've been waiting until they get to about 10 or 11 before I even throw a male in there. Then I let them grow. And then obviously they're showing like good growth. Then I put the male in there again. And so I've been trying to get 3 locks. It's been a couple where I've done more than 3 this year. But
Yep.
each time when I look back at my records, I look back and I see that I start trying to pair way before she was at like 10 or 11 because I was trying to see if like I can get like a jump off pair. And so in each one of those cases, I ended up pairing the male like 4 times, stuff like that. But I really want to get to like 3 because I want to get to a point where I can be like super efficient and
sure.
spread that male around as much as I can, especially as I start to deal with like more and more powerful males. And so I want to like spread the love across. And so I want to be pretty disciplined with doing that. So I've been living off the ultrasound too, and been it's hard sometimes because you just want to throw a male in there, you want to get some locks, like
No, but it is actually one of the best strategies because yeah, I've done it. Everybody I know that's a veteran breeder has done it. We have killed males. We just have. We've overbred them, and they just wouldn't eat and eat and eat and eat, and they just dissolved away. And I couldn't. There's probably been like 2 males over the years that I had a pastel nanny male years ago. I think I got like 9 clutches out of him, and all he wanted to do was breed and breed and breed. And I thought he was still fine, and then he just shut down eating after that and didn't eat for like 5 months. And then you just open the tub and he's gone. And it's just like, it's like, gosh, what could I have done better? So yes, I don't even do that kind of stuff anymore. That all that is like old history, 5+ years ago. Like I learned my lesson. So it's all basically what you just said. Live off the ultrasound machine. Try to get your male 1,000+ grams. Get that 2 to 3 just perfect locks. I love the 18 and 25 millimeter range. Everybody has their preference, but that is my preference. So it just kind of, and if you have a mature male and you hit those 2, you're guaranteed you're going to get those.
So your first lock is in the 18 to 25?
If it's a mature male and I'm ultrasounding and I see a female in that like 12 to 15 range and all of a sudden she went up in follicle size, I will breed her there. But if I can find them in that 18 range, I do love to breed that. 15, 18, any of that's probably perfect. And then I ultrasound all my animals every 2 weeks. So every 14 days, no matter what, all the animals in the whole facility, I spend 1 day ultrasounding. And then so I know exactly where everybody's at all times. And then so I just go right in at the 25, 28 millimeter range and boom, just hit her one more time.
Gotcha.
I will say, like, and you probably know this, but for like some of the audience out there, I even talked to like my buddy Troy on here and several other people, and I've even had it happen with a couple of my clutches. Bob knows if you breed with a young male and you try to perfect this ultrasound thing with a young male, it doesn't always work like that. You will get those locks if you breed him right, but you probably should throw a 3rd or 4th lock in there and back off a couple females. Especially if it's a very expensive male and he's a young male, because it's just the pressure. It's just, and then you get weak vein eggs, and if you don't get those 3 or 4 locks, you get 8 eggs out of a clown female to your puzzle desert ghost. You're really trying to get something nice, but they'll all go bad maybe. So it's like, just make sure the young males, you are doing what you got to do, I guess I should say.
That's good to know. That's good to know. That's great advice. Great advice. So at what point, like when a male goes off food during the breeding season, like at what point are you like pulling them?
So nowadays, the management of the males is once everything is eating, I get everything up to the appropriate size I want it, and then I start breeding the animals. Once they start breeding, usually the first 4 or 5 locks, they're always eating still, no problem. In between those locks is once you get into like moving them to multiple females and they get really like, I have a puzzle male, you turn him loose in there and he's going to go in and bite them girls and he's going to whip her around. And I mean, he is like boxing her in the tub, so it's like, he's going to get her in position and take care of it. So yeah, and then he shuts down eating when he does that for like a month. And so then I'll just I'll use him over that month, and then that's when I'll just say I have like 3 puzzle males, so then I'll move to the next puzzle male, make sure he eats, and then let the other puzzle males just take over. I just almost, unless it's like a really expensive animal that I can't afford a double, I think as a breeder, you're trying to be at a top level. If you can afford the second male and your collection's big enough, you probably should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having a backup meal is great. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have backup meals in all my projects, but that's definitely a goal of mine, is to get to the point to where I can have backup meals in every project. Because like I dealt with that last year, right? Like I had meals that went off food, and last year was really kind of my first like breeding year. I had like one clutch the year before, and then I had multiple clutches last year. But when the male went off food, like I didn't feel comfortable putting them in there because I didn't want to like lose the male just because I was trying to like push him too hard, and I didn't really have the experience. And so like I just erred on the side of caution, right? But I didn't have like
Yeah.
a backup male, and so I might have ended up having to do a pairing that I wasn't as excited about, or just not do a pairing with that female. It just
Yeah.
really kind of depended. And so having
Well,
a backup male is clutch, no pun intended.
yeah, no, and don't worry about your males not eating, because that's actually nature of the beast. I mean, you know, during hunting season, the white-tailed deer, the buck basically shuts down eating for a month and just chases those does around. I mean, he
Oh,
doesn't even
really?
care about eating. I mean, he's grabbing a carb every second he can grab it, just going along chasing that girl. So I mean, that's just, so the snake, I think, kind of gets that chemical reaction as well. They're just constantly thinking breeding. And so, one thing, and I don't know if, I'll just tell the audience this too. Don't worry about what you feed your male. Like if you got your male on rats and you've got all your males on rats right now, and he shuts down eating, and you're a month into breeding, and you're like, man, throw a mouse in there. If he'll eat it, give him another one. If he'll eat it, give him another one. And then, or if he'll eat an ASF, eat that. I will feed my males whatever it takes to make them eat during breeding season. And so at the end of breeding season, they'll all switch back. I've probably only had 1 or 2 males that never have went, I fed like 20 mice during breeding season to get him going. And then a month, 2 months after breeding season, he shut down in his tub. I throw a rat pup in there and he'll take it again.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, don't get scared at that. Just get your animals to eat is the goal as much as possible.
Yeah, I have been hesitant to throw a mouse in there. Like I got a male that's off food now, and out of the males that went off food, he's the only one who hasn't gotten back on food. And so I've tried a rat, I've tried an ASF, but I've been hesitant to put like a mouse in there because I didn't want him to get hooked on it. But I might just try a mouse and see if he eats, because if he eats, that's great.
Yeah, no, and then if he does get hooked on it, I do have an acid clown that did get hooked on one a couple years ago. He got hooked on the mice, but I'm kind of glad he did, to be honest with you, because that was the only thing he ever ended up eating. And he would eat every time I would breed an animal, he would eat 2 mice. And so he got into this rhythm where it was just like he turned actually into a better animal once I fed him mice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So
Yeah.
I'll offer him a mouse and see what he does with it. Hopefully he eats it, because like I said,
Yeah.
he was the only one that didn't get back on food.
Yeah, you got to have them carbs, man.
I got one male, like he was just a stud this year. Like he was off food for like maybe a month, and then he just got back on food like with a vengeance. And he's
Yeah.
put on like 250, maybe even
Oh,
300 grams almost, like
nice.
just during the season. Like he just been knocking it out. And, like, he goes right in there, gets the business, gets out, and he'll eat. So you
Yeah, it'd be
got
nice if they were all that way, but man,
right.
these
Like,
snakes can
like
be touchy.
say again.
These snakes can be touchy.
Like he just puts on a clinic of how you're supposed to do it. Like I appreciate you. So what's been some of your biggest seasons to date?
Uh, baby wise or like financially, basically all that kind of, I would say, runs together.
Mhm.
Um, but the last few years have been the best for me through this whole thing, just because I went full time and focused on it, and just continue to want to want to keep going. I love this actually.
Have you had a season where you just kind of like kicked ass with the odds?
I would say there was a like 4 years ago I made these freeways called the dirt roads. And they kind of put me, on the map with the freeway thing even more. I mean, it was pretty amazing how many people, kind of knew me over that. But yeah, that year was really good to me because I kind of came out with some like really cool new freeway project animals that no one had ever made before. And a lot of people were buying that stuff, and so that really worked out for me. And then it's all kind of just evolved from there, of course. But yeah, I mean probably that was probably 2019.
You said it's called the dirt road. So
Yeah, yeah,
asphalt, yellow belly, and what?
cinnamon spider freeway is what that was.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. And
I have to look
everybody
that one up.
hates, everybody's got the spider stigmatism and all that, but actually the spider freeways combos actually make some really nice stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. They make some dope combos,
Yeah,
like some really dope combos. It's, I mean, I haven't seen very many spider combos that I don't like.
I know. I actually love all of them. For the most part, it's just I just can't deal with people. I don't want a spider.
Yeah, yeah. So I chose not to breed it, but I still got one spider female in the collection, and she's never been paired. She is a bamboo spider pinstripe, and I think pastel and
Okay.
yellow belly too. And so
Bamboo.
yeah, and so I that's the only bamboo I got in the collection, and I've thought about pairing her because I saw some nice like acid combos with bamboo. It was
Yeah.
pretty nice. I was like, oh, maybe I'll shoot at that. But I know my luck. Like I'll get 7 eggs and 6 of them will be spider.
Well, yeah, that's the way I was the last couple of years with Freeway because I made I don't know 50 Mardi Gras like 2 years ago in 1 year. Just I had a inchy asphalt male and he was just like knocking it out of the park every clutch. I was getting like 4 or 5 Mardi Gras. I'm like, what the hell? This guy's. And then I would breed my Freeway and I get 5 clutches of ivories and no freeways, and I'm like, oh my god. So. But yeah, you definitely got to weed through it all.
Yeah, I know that. That'll be just my luck. I'll get like 6 out of 7.
But hopefully everything holds right now. I don't know why, but the first 5 clutches so far have been really crazy good odds. So I'm just gonna hopefully this year is just maintain. I'm trying to stay humble with it. I'm not trying to count my chickens before they hatch, and I'm just trying to like set back and let the babies hatch and do their thing.
So in terms of like acid and stranger stuff, what's the craziest acid thing you have a shot at this year? And what's the craziest stranger combo you got a shot at this year?
Probably I should hopefully make stranger clown pieds this year, but
Okay.
I think those will be pretty nice. And then acid stuff. I've got quite a few chances at acid clowns this year, and just some really I think some pretty cool combos are going to come. I have like a leopard spot nose lace het clown female,
Oh,
uh,
nice.
bred to a pastel spot nose acid clown male. And he made those babies I just posted up the other day. So he's making some beautiful babies already. So I kind of want to hit like this really crazy Powerball leopard acid. I just don't know if that's been made yet. This could be really a wild animal.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Like the pattern would just be insane.
Yeah, it could be like a
And a
monsoon.
lot
Could be
of
a
good
monsoon
contrast
looking.
in it too. Yeah, that'd be crazy. That'd be
Yeah.
insane. I what was I about to say? Oh, did you see? I think it was Scott Foster.
Yeah.
But did you see the confusion stranger combos that he posted maybe last week or the week before?
Yeah, actually, I did. I seen one today again on Facebook. So yeah, no, it looked like to me the acid is very overpowering. And it looks like if the acid is going to continue to do this with a lot of stuff, it is going to overpower basically everything for the most part. Because I haven't seen an acid clown yet to date that didn't have the acid head to it. Like a stranger acid clown, you would maybe think it would take on that mahogany stranger looking head, but the acid just overpowered the pattern still again, which I do love. I think that's great.
Yeah, at least it's a nice pattern.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
But yeah, I like those combos. Like it was pretty. They were pretty like dark. Like it was just. Yeah, you could tell it was different.
Yeah, I think you put the blackhead and the leopard and the spot nose into those combos, and like it does, yeah, those are going to be amazing for
I want to
sure.
see what it looks like in Ultramel too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Ultramel Stranger is beautiful, so you're right. That would be a nice one. Yeah.
I can't wait to see like Ultramel Stranger Clown. I remember last Tinley Levance had a female. Uh I think she was probably about like 600-700 grams or something, but she was a Stranger double head Ultra Clown.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to see the visual of that, a Stranger Ultramel Clown, that'd be dope. Or a
Yeah.
Stranger Leopard Ultramel Clown would be nice. Stranger Spot Nose Ultramel Clown. Throw some other stuff in there too. That'd be really nice.
We could talk for days doing this, right?
Like it's just that's one of the cool things about it though. It's like it's unlimited.
It is.
Pretty
It
much.
is.
Like there's so
Well,
many things to
that's
still be
why I
worked.
made that comment. I'm making these acid clowns right now, and these babies come out. They're just amazing looking because I made a lot of clowns. Everybody makes a lot of clowns, but if the contrast does, that's why I made that comment. The Stranger Desert Ghost clowns are probably going to be a huge step forward in that project, just because of the contrast and the pattern they could put into them. So I'm really excited about that.
You made a comment too about like clown kind of being like your base gene normal with females. So elaborate on that a little bit.
Okay, so basically what I've gotten down to is every single animal in your collection, even if you don't have a recessive, you're breeding it basically towards a recessive. So I'm not going to say codoms aren't worth anything anymore, because they are worth things, because there's a lot of beautiful animals. But like in the very beginning here, we were just talking about like bananas and banana yellow, orange dream, yellow bellies, and those females, even like 2 years ago, I could get like even like $800-900 out of no problem. And now they're like a $300 snake. And they're more of a pet quality now, instead of like people using them into the breeding projects. So basically the whole shift of this industry, I personally feel like over the last couple of years, is everyone wants to be recessive, and double, triple recessive at that if they can. So if that is where the industry is heading, and you are going to become a breeder, the clown better be the base cheapest basically thing in your collection, is my
Gotcha.
point.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm getting at.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Because
But yeah, go ahead.
there's no reason to go out and buy a normal het clown female unless you have like this powerful male and you can take a couple odds or whatever. But if you have the money to buy this powerful male, there's visual clown females on the market available for probably $1,000. I mean, you probably should just buy those over hets, and you're like 3 to 4 years putting yourself ahead instantly. So yes, I may like offend a few people because they have a lot of codoms in their rack still, and I do too. I understand that. But yeah, I mean, and when I say this about a clown being your base, it's because it's a clown or a pied, I guess I should say. It's because they are the two of the most popular recessives there are, and everybody bases everything around clown. So that's why I went that route.
Gotcha. And
Yep.
so what's your holdback strategy right now? Are you holding back a lot of hits, or you just pretty much it's got to be visual for you to hold it back?
No, I'm actually holding back on the high-end projects like the Double Het Ultramel puzzle, or the puzzle Desert Ghost, Exantic, DG. There's going to be like 3 or 4 projects there. I will hold back even all the normals that I make. I mean, if I make normal females that are Double Het DG puzzle, I mean, I put those in the rack, and I have the visual male in the future. Now we're stepping back to where, 5 years ago or 6 years ago, where guys were capitalizing on that wave of clowns. And that's where I talk about the wave coming in. So even like those normal females, you breed that to the Desert Ghost puzzle male in the future, even whatever combo you have, a chocolate or an orange dream or whatever, you still have the odds of hitting maybe one per clutch, let's just say on average, 7, 8 eggs. And so even those and Desert Ghost clowns, even last year, were still 10,000, and that they were above that for 5 to 6, 7 years, a lot of years. So it's positioning yourself for the wave. So, because Puzzle DG, we may be like 5 to 7 years before we see a 10K male, in that price range, just because there are not that many of them out there. So it's just that's just the examples I'm using of how I position myself.
Gotcha. So do you produce many single hits these days?
If I do produce a single head, I pretty much the males I will wholesale those out to the pet shops. Even if they're like a triple head, like hypo, clown pie, just normal male, that just gets straight to the pet shop for $50. Now then, the females, I capitalize on that because they're always worth something, or I will hold those back, one or the other.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And
I am always trying to hold the most powerful animal back. Don't get me wrong, but if like right now, Desert Ghost puzzle there's not that much out there, so you're pretty much just holding whatever you can.
That makes perfect sense. Do you feel like the move to doubles and triples and even quads, do you feel like the market is moving too quick towards that? And what I mean by that, like there's still a lot to be done, like even in some single recessive combos, but there's definitely a lot to be done in like plenty of the double recessives and the triple recessives. Obviously, there's even more to be done. So do you feel like we're moving too fast, or do you feel like it's just right? What are your thoughts on that?
I actually think it's probably just right because we've made so many clowns and so many pieds over the last like 5 years. And if you look at Morph Market, there is so many on there that we should be stepping to the double recessive, at least clown pied or hypo clown or hypo pied, because, you throw hypo in there. It's one of the more, abundant recessives. So if those aren't basically your base genes that you're breeding off of in your collection right now, is what they need to be.
That makes sense. It makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. So you've already touched on a lot of it, but future of ball python shed, like where do you see yourself going, like maybe business wise, not necessarily projects, but just kind of like in how you operate and execute like your business strategy and how you execute your tactics? Like what do you see lined up for ball python shed?
Basically, I'm gonna just keep rocking it out. I kind of talk about this a little bit on the road when I'm with Bob, because we kind of have a few little talks every now and then, and it's like we talk about how we want to just hit this as hard as we can, especially on the show side, for the next 5 or 6 years. And I mean, you're going to see us grind it as hard as we can and do it and try and capitalize, in the moment and in the movement. And I think after that, we'll probably be in position to where we don't have to do as many shows. We'll probably be able to, maybe slide back a little bit and do half as many shows. And I would say, I don't even know if I would say enjoy it more, because I enjoy kind of going to the shows actually anymore and hanging out. But I think just after so many years, the show thing could probably slightly burn you out, just the travel part of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How much preparation for you goes into like getting ready for the shows? I imagine it's a pretty extensive labor laden process.
Once you get things lined out, it's actually pretty simple. You got your animals that you sell, so you have to like flop those labels and redo a couple animals to, strategize things. But if you have a good team, like we do, I got Kendall that, rides with me, and, Bob's got all his guys. And so basically at home, preparing is about it. For me, it's very simple, because I just lay out all the displays and I just start loading the animals that went to the last show, and then replace new animals that we sold or add in whatever we're adding in. And then when we get to the show, I mean, like I said, like Kendall, he's been like super, awesome to have, because I don't even have to ask questions. He's over there redoing my labels for me. He's helping me clean my animals, and I don't ask any of this stuff. He's just, a genuine person, and that's why I think the team works so good together and the whole group works so good together because we all just kind of just go for it. And I don't know how it is for Bob because I know he has like 20 displays worth of animals that he but I think his is pretty well organized too. He has his racks with everything, like certain animals in certain racks. So I think it's all pretty much basically the same way it is for me, just at a bigger level. That's it.
So record keeping wise, like what are you using to keep up with everything?
So record keeping for me, I write clutches on note cards at my facility. So we'll clutch one, and then I write what they are and the sex, and then basically, then I put in my phone. I have my notes, and I put clutch one, and I go down through my notes, and I'll have every clutch in there. And then as I sell those animals, I go in at the show. As soon as I sell it, I try to go in and then put right next to that clutch and that animal what it sold for.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that way, like if I'm at the show and things are like chaotically happening, I can at least always go back and look at it as a reference. And then when I come home, I have the card right there. So if that tub is open, like I sold that acid clown at the show. That tub is still open when we get home. Yeah, I sold it right here, and then we just note it on the note card. So then everything's doubled up. Um, I'm not a real big computer guy. I need to get better at that, have like a laptop and keep, better track of this stuff. But so far it works for me.
Yeah, whatever works.
Yeah. No, yeah. I'm
Whatever
old
works.
school.
So I imagine just kind of being involved in this, you've learned a lot like over time. So what's one of the more surprising things that you've learned, whether it's about ball python breeding, whether it's about kind of yourself and the way you operate? Like what's something that kind of surprised you?
I mean, the one thing that probably surprised me the most about this business is this community of people is actually a really. I know that everybody says there's infighting and all this bull crap that happens, but if you look at the big picture, 90% of the people in this business are pretty cool people, and if you need them, to help, they're gonna come. I mean, we've I've helped with a couple of these auctions over the time, to help out with try and generate some money for some people, in need or something like that. And I mean, it's like me and Bob did that one, a couple of years ago. We generated like 60 grand in 4 or 5 days. I mean, that quick.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know that the community has their infighting and all their bull crap that goes on here and there, but for the most part, I think this is a pretty awesome community.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's
So
dope. Yeah.
that was a surprising thing to me because I mean I've been involved in like the whitetail business and the cattle business, and they maybe did a few things like fundraisers for an FFA thing or something, but they really, like, if somebody had a problem, they didn't really like go the extra mile to like raise the money to like help the family that was in the industry that helped. So yeah, like we did for Brian Barczyk, and things like that. I think those are special moments for us.
Okay. Yeah. Like I've heard stories about like long time ago, it wasn't quite as like welcoming and stuff like that. But I'm glad it's that way now because
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I've reaped the benefits like of that community in so many ways. And that's one of the biggest things that I like about like this whole kind of like reptile breeding experience and getting into the reptiles and the industry and all of that is really the community. Like I met so many different people from so many different walks of life who I wouldn't have come across otherwise if it wasn't for the fact of we enjoy working with reptiles. So it's been pretty cool for me. Like I agree, there is like the infighting and stuff like that. And you kind of see it and you just kind of just move past it, or if you want to participate, I imagine like some people who want to participate, they want to get right in the thick of it. I choose not to do that, but you do. It's going. That's part of it, but that doesn't define the hobby, and that certainly doesn't define my experience in this.
No, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dope
we've all got a few bad apples in the group, but yeah, I mean, I would say for the most part, it's pretty solid.
100%, 100%. All right, bro. So before I let you get out of here and enjoy the rest of your night, we're coming up on an hour and a half. I do
Okay.
got some random questions for you. And
Yes.
so the first one is if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
Oh man. Oh man. Phew. Probably want to move over to Vietnam.
Why's that?
It's beautiful over there. You live cheap. It's just nice.
Nice.
I just want to get out of here, man.
Have you been?
No, there's a lot of places I want to visit. Me and Bob talk about going, and doing some little trips like that and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think it's funny you asked me that too, because I talk every day with my wife about where we want to go and where we want to end up someday. I love Kansas. I love my farm and all that. But I've been here my whole life. I want to, go do something else.
So, speaking of that, do you find it hard to like get away from on trips and stuff for like extended periods of time because of like having to deal with everything?
Yeah, and it's just mainly, the kids are involved in sports, and then just the animals around here, and we do have like 7 or 8 dogs, only a couple of them live inside and the rest do live outside, but it's still, you have responsibilities and things. So I'm definitely trying to arrange things where I can travel more with the family, because that's probably the worst thing I probably do is not take my family on vacations more than, because I'm everywhere. I get to go all over the United States, and yeah, we do call it work, but I think we're having a lot of fun while we work too. And I'll admit to it. Yeah, I mean, we have a blast. So some days, yes, I do feel guilty for that. So I feel like I got to make up for it somewhere, sometime.
Gotcha. Yeah, we're still kind of like working out the logistics of that and just kind of getting away for extended periods of time, because we don't have anybody who can come here and like take care of all the animals and like do everything we need to do. Like obviously we could board like the dogs, but I mean you don't want to board the dogs for an extended period of time.
Right.
And like going away for like 3 or 4 days is fine, but once you start getting into like being gone a week, I don't know how we would do it like right now to be gone that long, because you can't like do it for a week and not have anybody come through and like check up on it. Because I got somebody who can, like my mother-in-law, like she can come and take care of the dogs, but she's not gonna take care of the snakes.
No,
and I don't blame her either, because I wouldn't take care of the snakes if I wasn't dealing with snakes. And I didn't know nothing about snakes, because back in like it's not been that long ago. Like we just got into it in 2020. But if in 2019 you'd ask me to come take care of your snakes, I'd be like, hell no.
How many snakes do you guys have now?
How many we got? Like with the babies and everything, we got right at about 100.
Oh wow, good for you already, man. That's a nice solid start. Yeah, for
and
sure.
So, I mean, it can be, as you know, it can be a lot of work and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so, like to get away from that long, right now we don't have anybody. So, like we'll take like time away in like spurts and just deal with it. But at some point, I will want to get away from like for like a long period of time. But we'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah. No, I get that for sure. That's kind of the way we're taking it right now. We're just we're right in the middle of this ball python thing. Like I said in that one thing, we're kind of like living this ball python rock star, thing where we're just running the country and selling these snakes and having a great time. And at some point, it's, some of this I'm sure will slow down like everything does in life. But I just want to position myself correctly. I think it's just the key for everyone right now in the business.
100%. All right, so next one, if you won $10 million tomorrow, how would you use it?
Oh man, 10 million tomorrow.
10 million smackaroos.
Buy a couple houses. Probably buy $1 million worth of snakes for the fun of it. No, I don't know. I'd probably just keep on rocking. Let my kids do the ball pythons, and I would probably go to a few shows too, and just kind of keep it going. I mean, $10 million is a lot of money, but the government's going to take 5 of it right off the bat, so you're gonna have to make some more of it.
100%.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's certain in life is taxes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and the more you make, the more they want too.
All right. So If you could have dinner with any three people, dead or alive, it doesn't matter. Who would it be and why?
Oh man, dead or alive, and who would it be? Wow, man, you got some good questions. I should have got these
Appreciate
before we got on here.
it.
Damn. Man, there's probably some men. I don't really like follow a lot of people for mentorship, but there are probably a few of them out there that have helped me out along the way. Man, phew, I don't even know. Man, that's a good question.
That's a good idea. That might be the only questions that I send. It's like the random questions, like, "Hey, I'm asking you these."
Yeah, no, a couple minutes to think about a couple of. What was the one you asked me earlier too?
The very first like random question about
Yeah,
where we live.
no, you in the very beginning of this podcast, you asked me a really good question. I couldn't.
Mm, I ask a lot of really good questions. No, I'm
Yeah,
just kidding. Just kidding. I don't know. I remember you commenting, but I forgot which question it was. If
yeah,
somebody in the chat remember which one you commented on, drop it in the chat. I can't remember exactly which one it was. It might have been about your brand, I think.
yeah. It may have been where my brand, stands for in the future. Yeah. No, I mean, I think just, I've got a few boas now. I've got like 5 boas, so I'll probably maybe like end up having a few boas on the table maybe in the
Okay.
future. Nothing like a lot, but I like boas. I've always liked boas, and they actually, some of them are more beautiful than the ball pythons, to be honest with you. So it's like I kind of just want to have a couple little project snakes and mess with that too.
What are you working with your bows right now?
Basically just like the call albino jungle stuff, and then hopefully try to get some like IMG into it, just to make some really cool looking things, babies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dale said, "Told you your questions are deep."
Dale's right about that. If he's coming on here, you better get those first, Dale.
He was on a couple weeks ago, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he had mentioned it before. He was like, "I'm nervous because Mike asked hard questions." Yeah, we joked and laughed about it.
No, that's good though. You make people think. I like that for sure. Yeah. It's
But
good.
yeah, I like the bullet stuff, man. I got 5 bulls right now, and I meant to
Very
say I
nice.
like the IMG stuff. I got an IMG Motley head call albino male. He's insane looking. Like,
Oh, I bet.
yeah, he's
That's
just like
exactly what I need to buy, actually. Yeah.
at this point, he's like pitch black. You can barely see any pattern on him, and you gotta like really kind of like be looking, but he's just like pitch black and a lot of iridescence right now.
Yeah, it's gonna make some beautiful stuff. Yeah. Yeah, and people love those solid black snakes. I mean, I made that post of that Ultramel hets last night, and I got like 3 messages. Just they didn't even want the Ultramel; they want that het that's in there because it's like black almost. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, but you look at a picture of him like from when we first got him, it's like night and day. Like,
Oh, I bet.
yeah, like if you didn't know about IMG, you wouldn't even believe it was the same snake.
He just gets darker and darker then.
Darker and darker every shed.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, he's got like one little piece of white by his cloaca,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah. No,
Just
that'll be a good one.
iridescence.
So you're right there with me. I got 5 and you got 5. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I got 5 on it.
Oh, that's cool. Hell yeah. We'll have to compare notes.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, bro. So it's been great, man. We right up on an hour and a half. I try to wrap them up at an hour and a half, just to be
Okay.
respectful of everybody's time. But before we wrap it up for the night, is there anything you want the audience to know? You want to share?
I just want to thank everybody for always supporting me and always just being real nice to me. And, I mean, the community's always been great. So hopefully I can give back or do what I need to do to do the same for everybody else.
Nice,
Thank
man.
you.
I really appreciate you coming on the show too. Really appreciate it. I've been looking
Thank you
forward
for
to it.
having me, man. That's cool.
Yes, sir. Anytime. You're always welcome back, brother, too. So anytime.
Awesome.
Everybody in the chat, man, appreciate the support each and every week. Thank y'all for coming out.
Love y'all, man. Thank you.
For sure. If you didn't catch it from the beginning, Please go back, check the replay, check us out next week, each and every Thursday. Check us out 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Brandon, what's good, bro? Brandon will be on the show soon, and I saw Charlie in the chat as well. From Reagan Renee, he will be on the show soon. So we got some dope guests lined up. So I really appreciate all the support, all the feedback, all the love. Really appreciate it. Can you hang around for a few minutes?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank y'all for coming out. Be blessed. Peace.
Peace.